Hi, Tracy here with BibleJournalingMinistries.com, and in this lesson I'm going to share with you how you can make these really cool tassels. So we're going to make each one of these in this video. If you like these kinds of tutorials, make sure that you hit that like button. It does really help us out, and if you're ready, let's go ahead and get started. The supplies that you need are yarn and scissors and a piece of cardboard. Those are what you need for sure. If you want to add charms to yours, like this one here that has different charms, you can add them at the end using a jump ring or just thread the yarn through the little hole at the top and you'll be just fine. Super easy. To make these tassels, it's again super easy. You will be able to vary your sizing, but I'm going to give you the general premise or like the general instructions. So the first thing that I have is a piece of cardboard. You can use a cereal box if you have one. This is just the back of a notebook. It's 9 inches by 12 inches. Whenever I'm doing ones that are just from my standard Bible, I usually just use this one cardboard. I don't go get a Bible out and do any measurements. I usually just use this cardboard. I go about 50 times around this way. Then I go and I make the bookmark part of it using the 12 inches this way, okay? But I'm going to show you today how to do it based on the Bible that you have at your house. But if I'm making these, like for the smaller Bibles, I'm usually just using the cardboard because it's easier and faster. But today I want to show you how to do it if you want to use maybe, let's say, the Illustrating Bible or something like that. The technique is going to be the same across the board, okay? The first thing you're going to do is you're going to wrap your yarn around at least 25 complete times, okay? That is going to give you a tassel that looks somewhat like this, depending on how thick your yarn is, okay? If you want to make it fatter, you want a fatter tassel like, let's say this one, you're going to want to go around at least 50 times. So with practice, you'll decide what is an appropriate tassel thickness for yourself. Today, we're going to do one that is 50. We're gonna go around it 50 times. So the first thing I do is I just hold my tassel at the end of this 9-inch piece of cardboard and I wrap it around once. That's one time, okay? And then I'm gonna go 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm just gonna keep doing it. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. If you are wanting to do mixtures of yarn, then I would recommend going like 20 times around, then switching your yarn and doing 20 times around. So I'm at 40, so I'm obviously not going to do that. I like this kind of yarn that has the different colors on it. It just makes it easier. I don't have to get a bunch of different yarns to get different variations in color. But I did want to let you know that you can do that. 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Okay, so there's your 50 times around. And then I'm just going to cut it. I kind of let the yarn hang loose a little bit, and then I just kind of cut it a little bit bigger. Okay, so that is going to be my base of my tassel. Now I want to figure out, okay, how long do I want my kind of bookmarks to go? So then I'll find the Bible that I want to use. So let's say I want to use this Illustrating Bible. So if I want to use the Illustrating Bible, I'm usually going to try to cut my yarn about 2 times the size of the Bible that I want to use it in, because I want it to kind of hang down. I don't want the yarn to be in the middle of the page. Although if you want it to be in the middle of the page, make your yarn shorter. It's totally okay, but that's not what I like to do. So I just hold my thread at the bottom of this and I decide how many little bookmarks I want to have, okay? And for every one bookmark, I'm going to go around 1 full turn, okay? So there's 1, 2, 3. Okay. So this should give me 1, 2, 3, 4, or should give me, it would give me 8 if I wanted it, if I wanted to do it just this size. But because I want to do it twice this size, I'm only going to have 4 bookmarks, and that's totally okay. So that's the size. So that's how I measure the size. Now I have this long piece of yarn, and I just want to, like I said, I was going to have 4 hanging down. So I just want to go 1/2 and then another 1/2 of that. And that's going to give me the 4 that I want hanging down. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Then what I need to do is I need to pull. So I know that I want to go halfway. I'm going to tie this. I'm going to put my yarn here where it is, there are 4 bookmarks, and at the top here is where I'm going to tie my tassel top. Okay, and I want to tie my tassel top in the middle of this at about 4.5 inches. Okay, so at this point you can cut your tassels off the edge here. You can go 1 and 2 and cut them off, but I don't do that. But you can. So what I do is I just grab my tassel and I just pull it off the cardboard. Okay, and then I kind of make sure I know where the middle mark is, and then I put the middle mark in between this middle mark that I had placed. So half of this goes around the middle point of this. So just like this. And then I just tie it with a knot. You do not have to be perfect because you can always trim it up. So I just tie it with a knot, 1 knot. So here's the first tie and then the second tie. Okay, so now I have what looks like just a hot mess, actually, but it's not going to be a hot mess. Okay, so now I have what I call the hot mess, or I don't know if you know the Addams family, but I kind of think this looks like Cousin It. So it's at this point when I do my cutting. So I just cut, because if I cut early and then I mess it up, I just have to fiddle with it more. You don't ever have to throw it out. You just have to fiddle with it more if you don't like it. So then all I want to do is I want to cut the loops at the bottom of each side of my tassel. So I just take my scissors and I run it through halfway and I just cut them. And I'm not precise. It's not like I get everything the first time, but this is just, you know, something I do, you know, when I'm watching TV or bored, make these little tassels. Okay. And sometimes I don't get all the loops. Like here's one where I didn't get the loop. I'll just come in and cut it just like that. And over time, if you make these a lot, you'll come up with a faster, easier, better method for yourself. But this is just the one I use when I'm just kind of sitting around wanting to make these things. So now I have long tassel end. I have the tassel here and then a long tassel end. Okay. Now I have to make the little thing that goes around this. Okay. Just to tie it, just to make it look like kind of the octopus that you used to make when you were younger. I don't know if you remember, but we used to do this in kindergarten. We would get the yarn, we tie it in a little yarn around it, we put little googly eyes on it, and it would be an octopus. Now it's a tassel. Okay, so to do the tassel, to tie the tassel off, I just measure out a little over 2 widths. So this was 9 inches. So I'm just going to go 9 inches, but just a little bit more. And the reason why I do a little bit more is because I can always trim, but it's really difficult to add more. Okay, so I have a little over 9 inches. So it's probably 10 or 11 inches. Okay, so now I want to tie this, and this is about this width here. It's about 1 inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch. But I just kind of measure it based on where, like if I were to put my hand around this, where would I want it to kind of poof up a little bit? So it's by eye, but really it's about 3/4 of an inch. Then I'll take the midpoint of my yarn here, and I will just tie it take the midpoint, make sure, and it doesn't have to, again, it doesn't have to be precise because you've made the yarn long enough where you can just trim it up. So I just take that midpoint and then I just tie it really quickly in a knot. Now, before I tie the final knot, if there are any little yarns that are kind of annoying me, I'll just come in and just kind of pull them a little bit. See that one that just, I pulled a little bit. And if I don't like it, I can always undo it. And honestly, if you don't like it in the end, you can always clip this off and try again. So don't feel like you have to get it perfect. So then I just tie this like that, and I just hang it down like so. Okay, so now I have my tassel and my bookmarks. Okay, so the next thing I do is I just kind of make sure it's, you know, it's the way I like it. Might move it around. Okay, and then I just trim off the bottom. So I just kind of give it a little haircut. All by eye. I'm not going for like perfection. These aren't things that I sell. These are just things that I make, and they're cute for gifts and things, especially if you want to pair them up or swap them or put them in your stocking stuffers. I think they're super cute. So I just come in and I just give it a little haircut with my scissors. And then I just kind of smooth it out and make sure it's good. Like there's one here that's just kind of hanging out that I will come out and just trim it. So this stuff just gets thrown away. Okay. For the end of this now, there should be one loop at the bottom that you need to cut like that. Be careful, don't cut your finger. Don't use real sharp scissors. And now I have my tassel, right, that can be used in my illustrating Bible. All right. And you can even, if you wanted to, I mean, you could weave it around your coil if you want to, and then use these as placement markers. If you want to add little charms to them, you can just pick up, you know, whatever charms you want. This is a little heart one. This one's a little heart locket one. It might be easier. I just feed it through the top, add the little charm, and just tie it off. Just a cute little tie, cute little charm there. You can also vary the lengths of these if you want to. If you want to cut one shorter than the other, you can. Here's a little cross one. Now, if ever I can't get the yarn to go through the hole, I just use a jump ring. This is called a jump ring. Let me get a larger one. And that might be too large. This should be fine. And I just add the jump ring to the charm. So to do that, I just grab a set of needle nose pliers from back in my jewelry making days. I hold one end straight. I take the other plier and I just slightly open it by basically twisting my hand. And that just opens it, and it opens it up this way. And then I can feed my charm through and then bring that jump ring back. So there's no gap. That's why I do it that way. Okay, so now I want to put the yarn through the hole. I just grab my little needle nose pliers, put it through the hole, grab the piece of yarn, and just string it right through. It's super easy that way. And then I'm just going to tie off the end. You can use beads. If you have beads, you can use any charms that you have. You can use wooden charms. I just have these little silver charms. And these are cute little cross ones. This is actually really old, so it's not available anymore, nor would I recommend it. I actually don't really care for it because you need to have additional gems and things to work with some of the things that are in here. But I will make sure to link up for you guys any of the cool ones that I have found. There are a couple on Amazon that I want to purchase. I just haven't purchased them yet. And I need to give Lonnie something to get me for Christmas. So I think I might ask him for some of these charms. So I'll link up below or in the description so that you can see the ones that I would want in my stocking this year. If you get a stocking. Me and Lonnie, we've been together for a long time. Lonnie's my husband, for those of you guys who don't know. And every year we buy each other stocking stuffers. And we just get a stocking and put little treats inside. So for him, he likes Reese's peanut butter cups. So I give him Reese's peanut butter cups and then try to find something else to put in there for him. Sometimes it's cute little toys. Sometimes it's, you know, something from the Dollar Tree. Sometimes it's little, I don't know, little doodads and things. So he's always interested in knowing what he can put in my stocking. So something like these charms would be, I think, really cool to do that with. So maybe another set of pliers. But yeah. So let me just grab that, pull that through, and then I'm just going to tie it like so. Some other variations you guys can have, and I'll just share the variations that you can try at home with yours. So here is the final, and I think it's really cute. And I could choose to, like, you know, trim off some of these. I actually don't like the little yarn hanging out the end like that, so I'll just trim it off. And don't accidentally trim off your hand. Just be real careful. Okay, so now I have a really pretty tassel that goes really beautiful with this is my illustrating Bible. This is the Gospels that just came out this year. It is on my list of top 10 Christmas gifts. But look how cool that is. Wouldn't it be neat to get one of these little tassels with this Bible? Wouldn't that be real neat to give as a gift? You can also vary your widths of your yarn. So let's say that I didn't want to use this in an illustrating Bible, but it was really for like a smaller Bible. Then I could just basically trim off some of this tassel, some of this bookmark part, and then, you know, just kind of make it a little bit shorter. If you want to, another thing you can do is, let me show you an example. Here on this one, I have a lot of the yarn wrapped multiple times around this. I think it gives it a nice, a more finished look to it. You can do that. You just grab your yarn and just grab a piece of yarn real quick for you guys. You can always add, just come in here and I would just, well, here's what I do. I just tie it off like this because I like to hide the end. So I tie it off like this with a little knot, okay? And then I trim off the end of that little knot so there's not any left. And then I hide the knot by just wrapping the yarn around it like this. And it creates more of, I think, a finished tassel look, kind of like a, you know, tassel that would have something around it, like for graduation. And then what I do is I just tuck this piece of yarn behind the other yarn, and I do that with the end of a paintbrush. So I just kind of push it through the end like that and then pull it out the side. And then it kind of creates a nice, kind of a more finished look to the tassel, kind of more professional, I think. If you're using it for gift giving, that might be something you would want to do. So I told you how to make it shorter. I told you how to make it fatter. I haven't told you how to make it with different fabrics and different yarns and things like that. So if you are going to make a tassel and you want to make it with, say, with like different fibers and things in it, what I would do, and what I do is I grab, let me just grab some. Let's use this pink one and I'll show you how I do that part. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, then I cut it off. Just makes it easier on me. So now I have two ends like there. Okay, and then I go grab another color. So let's grab this fibrous yarn. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now you don't have to do 10. Like you can do 2. You don't have to do 10. I'm just showing you as an example. You just vary it until you get something that you like consistently, and then you just keep going. So now I'm gonna do another 10 here of this multicolored pink one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can see that I'm not being completely precise because I'm making things sometimes a little looser, a little fatter, and I just trim it up when I'm done. So let's do 5 this time of this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. And I can do 5 of one more of the other one, and then we'll be done. So that would be, I think, so 10, 10, and 5 is 30 times around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so instead of 50 now I have 30 on this one. So my little ball should be a little bit easier to tie. All right, so now I have to go, okay, well, now I want to know which Bible am I going to use. Let me just use the Illustrating Bible because I can always cut things shorter. Okay, so you can wrap it around if you want to, or you can just go, okay, well, here's one length. Right, so here's the length. So if I cut that there, and that's the length that I want, I mean, I think that's pretty good. Okay, then I can do another one about the same length-ish. Again, just approximating. This one's a little bit longer, actually. That's okay. So now I have 4 little bookmarks. If I wanted to do more, I could do more. I could do 8 if I wanted to. I could do a ton of them, but I don't, so that's good. And so this is about halfway right here. Okay, so this is where I want to tie, about halfway. So here's halfway, about right here. I'll just put the paint pen and the paintbrush so you can see. All right, and then I'm going to pull this off, and I want to go halfway as well. So halfway is about right here. So then I just approximate it as best I can. So you can also, once it's kind of hanging there, just kind of move it. And I've done that before where I take my hand and I just kind of hold it and go, does it look like it's right? Yeah, it looks like it's right. So now I'm going to tie it. And I'm going to tie it again. And again, if you do things like, you accidentally don't like it, or you, tie it too tight and you break a piece, don't worry about it. Like, just, you can keep going. You can just, remove any of the yarn you don't like and just tie it off. Even you could be lazy and just kind of come at the end here and then just, chop it off like that if you want to. Or like me, I'm just going to go through the loops and just cut them because, this is fun for me. This is a fun activity for me. Okay, so now I have cute. Now I don't want to trim it all up because I'm not done, but I just wanted to show you can cut the loops that way. You can see I even missed some, and that's okay. You just come in and cut them again. All right? Super cute. This one's really pretty, but it does make a mess, doesn't it? It sheds a lot. Okay, so now I'm just going to tie this part off, and I could tie it with anything. So let me just tie it with, let me do 18 inches of, I didn't need 18 inches. I just chose to grab 18 inches. And let me just tie it off like we tied it off at the beginning, just because it's easier. But again, you can do the other things that I showed you as well. Okay, so at this point, I'm almost ready to tie it off. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else I want to adjust before I completely tie it off. So I might come in here, I'll hold it for a little bit. You know, maybe there's a couple yarn pieces that I don't like, and so I'll pull one out or trim one up or whatever. Okay, and then I will tie it tight. You can even like put googly eyes on yours if you want. You can put a sash on yours. You could decorate yours. You could make a Halloween one if you want to. You can make a Christmas one that has a snowman on it. You can do all kinds of things. And so now I'm just going to trim it up. So I just kind of hold it in my hand like this, right? And I just give it a nice little haircut. Ta-da! And then we can add our gems and stuff like that to the end, or our charms. So if there are ones that, like, after you're done, like say this one's kind of poking out, I just usually take my hand and just kind of pull gently on some of the yarn to see which one it is until I find it. And then I can make it go where I want it to go. And again, you can totally finish this off by wrapping things around it, put a little scarf on it, make a little girl out of it, all kinds of things. But in general, this is how I make my tassels. So I hope that this was helpful to you, and I hope that you enjoy making yours. And if you do, please share them. I would love to see them. You can either email me at support@BibleJournalingMinistries.com, or you can visit us on our Facebook community, the Bible Journaling for Beginners community, and post it there, and so we can see it there. I hope you have a wonderful week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.